And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at Hanamikoji. This is a two-player game from Emperor's 4 Games, and this is a game that actually we've talked about in the Dice Tower a while ago. I've never done a review of this. This was reviewed. This is a new version of the game. So I wanted to talk about this new version. It's pretty much the same game, okay? So there's nothing really changed, but I've never done a review of it myself. This is a two-player game that I've changed my mind on to some degree. Since my first playings of it, I played it quite a bit more since then. And in fact, there's a bunch of little expansions for the game, which I'll be talking about in a separate video. But let's take a look at this two-player game. If you've never heard of it, it's definitely one that's gotten a decent amount of buzz. Here's how it plays. There are 7 geishas here in the middle of the table, and you put them in order. The rule book shows you which order to put them in, but there's going to be a certain number of cards associated with each one. You can see here there's 21 item cards. So for example, purple, which is the first one in line here, has 2 cards in the deck for it, while the last one here in the line, the pink one, has 5 cards in the deck for that particular person. So each of them with a different color, and also you can see it also shows a distinct thing, like this one here has an umbrella, so you remember which cards match which one. So there's 21 cards. You're going to shuffle these. You're going to take one of them out of the game, and then you're going to deal 6 cards to each player. One person goes first, and the game begins. On a player's turn, the first thing that they will do is they'll draw a card from the deck and add it to their hand, whatever their hand size is. Then the player, which has 4 action tokens in front of them, will pick one of these action tokens and use it. Then it's the other person's turn, and you're just going to go back and forth using all 4 of these action tokens. So what do each of the action tokens do? Well, the first one here, you're simply going to pick a card from your hand, and you're going to put it face down underneath this marker. This means you have one influence towards that geisha of whatever color you put down. So here I put down this one here, but the other person doesn't know it. The second one, you're going to take 2 cards and put them under this one, and you're basically removing those 2 cards from the game. They do not count. The number 3, you're going to put down 3 cards, put them face up in front of you. Your opponent's going to pick one of those 3, and they're going to put it face up in front of that person on their side, and you get the other 2. And then the fourth one here, you're going to put down 2 pairs of cards. So you have 4 cards, you're going to put them in 2 pairs. Your opponent's going to pick one of those 2 pairs. So let's say I put them like this. Your opponent picks one of those 2 pairs, puts them on their side, and you get the other pair. So players are going to do this until you've used all 4 of the tokens. And once all 4 of the tokens are done, then cards are going to be revealed. When that happens, players will reveal the secret card that they have. So maybe that was mine and my opponent's was this one. And then you're going to look at each of the geishas and the number of cards in the sides. If the number of cards in the sides is the same, nothing happens. If one person has more cards than the other, this token moves over towards them. And so that geisha is with you. You've charmed them to some degree. So this one here is a tie. This one comes to me. This one's a tie. Now, you will win the game if at any point you have 4 of the geishas, or if the charm total, which is the number on the item card, is 11 or more. So if I have the 5, the 4, and the 3, I would win that way. Now, if no one has it, you're going to pick up all the cards, all the item cards, but you're going to leave these tokens where they are. So unless my opponent takes this back, they have to win it, because a tie means it will stay where it is. That's a pretty good advantage to me. But you'll take all the cards, including the one that you removed from the deck, you'll shuffle them, you'll flip these tokens back up, and you'll do it again. And you'll continue to do this till somebody wins, which will likely be after 2, 3, maybe 4 rounds. That's the game. Now the cards here are gorgeous, and the quality is really well done. There is a nice finish, a linen finish on all the cards. I like how these all look. They're fantastic. I might argue that they sacrificed a little bit of function for beauty, if only because having a number on each of these cards would have been nice. Because, yes, she has an umbrella, but I don't remember how many points she might be worth. It's 3 on the cards, and if the cards are played out there, you can remember that. I just think it would have been nice to have out there, just as a remembrance of how many cards there are for each of them. That's a minor thing. The tokens themselves are pretty small. I don't know. They're pretty easy to remember what they do. Now, there are some expansions that add more tokens to the game, and I'm going to talk about those in a separate video, but they all fit easily into the box. But it is a really gorgeous game. Even the tokens you can use, the side that shows the picture of the person or the little flower token. So it's just really nice, and it's really fast to set up and play. So when I first played Hanamikoji, it had been really built up to me, and I played it, and I thought, it's okay. And I didn't dislike it, but I thought it was fine. And that's kind of where I sat on it for a while. When I got this new version and playing through it, I have to say it's becoming more than okay. I'm really enjoying this game. It is a back-and-forth two-player game, and it is in the line of some of my favorite games like Battle Line from Reiner Knizia. It has a lot of feelings similar to that. It's a very thinky game, and it offers a tiny bit of a mechanism I like a lot, which is I split, you choose. So in this game, that happens twice, where there are the 3 cards, you pick one of them, I keep the other 2. And then there are the 4 cards, 2 pairs, you keep one, I keep the other. But both players have to do it. So perfect information, except one card is out. So you can see your cards, but that information is revealed as the game goes by. Each turn you draw a card, and you're wondering, the other person puts down a secret card, and you think, is that one of the 3 green cards? Is it? Because if it is one of the 3 green cards, I have the other 2 in my hand. I have that, but can I throw one of them away under the 2 that I don't need and just put one out and get it? But how do I put that one out? And sometimes I'll offer the 3 cards, and I'm like, I think they're going to want this card, but little do they know, my card underneath mine is the opposite of that card. But they know I know that. And again, here's the thing. When I talk about this, you're sitting there going, no, it's not that deep when I looked at it. But it's deeper than you might think. These 4 little tokens, the order you play them in, the cards you play, make this a really fascinating game. And the second thing that makes it fascinating is from round to round. So if I win the affection of a geisha on this one thing, that's mine. I don't need to put as much work into it. Now I just need to tie there. But I'm not going to put work in it, and you can take that one back from me. And that one that's worth 5 is a big deal. So that coupled with a really gorgeous production, I mean, it really looks nice. It makes this a really solid 2-player game. You can play it over and over again, and it's not what we can call a micro game, but it's close. I mean, there's 21 cards, and then the 7 geisha in the middle. I wouldn't mind it actually like a little player mat that has them all out there. It could just be a board, the geisha cards, but it does make it small. I mean, you can fit everything in this box really simply. Like I said, all these mini expansions fit in there also. And they add a lot more flavor to the game, but even before I get to those, I'll tell you, you don't need them to enjoy this. I think just getting this by itself works really well. So this has really, like I said, come around for me. It's a 2-player game that has risen amongst the ones where I'm like, yeah, this is one I want to play. And I like that double bluff part of it. So definitely check it out. Hanamikoji, I'm Tom Vasel. You've been watching the Dice Tower. Dice Tower judgment approved.